I think it's because I've got a loud voice, apparently. But yeah, I'm going to pass over to somebody far more experienced in these matters than me. And so without further ado, I'm going to pass over to Oliver Perks, Granny's little brother. Is that right? And for a few well-chosen words, and just to thank you all for coming on our behalf as well. Yeah.
When David suggested that I might propose this toast today, I was delighted, and I mean that. But I'm bound to say that in years gone by, and I'm speaking of 3/4 of a century ago, Rosemary and I were not on the best of terms. And when we spoke to one another, it was usually, shut up. Until our parents got fed up and put the block on this, and that had to stop. Well, the thing was, it was terribly unfair. Rosemary used to go in and have dinner with the grown-ups, whereas I had a plate on a tray of cornflakes in the morning room. And it was pretty ignominious. I don't like cornflakes anyway. Time went by and the situation improved. And 1939, the family were going down to Cornwall for their summer holiday, and Rosemary and I were deputed to take Mother's Morris 12, which appears in one of the pictures on the table there, with the family luggage down to Cornwall. Well, we thought it would be interesting if we went over Dartmoor, which we did, and one of the boys happened to be out at the time, so we were stopped by a mounted prison officer. I think he was armed as well. He wanted to look in the boot to make sure this chap was... Well, if anybody can imagine the boot of a Morris 12, it wouldn't have taken the chap quite apart from all the pokes luggage. Still, so we got past that, and on we went down to Coverack. Well, in those days, Coverack had a very sharp hairpin bend, which led from the front up to Channel View, the establishment where we were aiming to stay. Anyway, Rosemary was driving, and she had problems getting round this hairpin. And when she tooed and froed about 12 times, she got rather fed up and said, "You have a go." But by that time, the car was almost tight up against the wall. Could not be moved without almost disaster, but we got over it. Had it been a bit later, a German hit-and-run bomber dropped a bomb on Coverack. It actually landed on the house, which constituted the apex of the hairpin, and demolished it. And to this day, and I've been there recently, it's quite an easy bend to take. Anyway, time went on, and I found myself in foreign parts, and Rosemary was very...
Another German bomb.
Anyway, Rosemary was very good writing letters to me, and which was appreciated. On one occasion, she addressed a letter perfectly correctly to 931569, Lance Bombardier Perks OH, 72nd Field Regiment, Royal Artillery, Middle East Forces. But unfortunately, in the meantime, I had been wounded and gone to hospital, and some Scottish clerk somewhere put the wrong hospital number on it, and so it travelled all around the Middle East, being rejected and having a rubber stamp on it. And eventually somebody got fed up, sent it to India, where I'd never been. They got so fed up with it, they sent it back to Rosemary. So by the time I got it, it was somewhere about a year or so old. And I still have it. And it's quite interesting. Anyway, time went by, I was back in the UK, and we were training for D-Day in the Bournemouth and New Forest area, and Rosemary was then living in a flat in Southsea. So I availed myself of her hospitality on a few occasions, which was very welcome, and anyway, we got through that one again. Later on, I was trying to sell motor cars for a living, and I sold Rosemary one. Without too much she said, I don't suppose you'll want me to drive you. Phil won't let me drive him. And I said, well, I'm only too pleased because I regard you as a very much better driver than Phil, whom I wouldn't want you to drive. A bit more pleased, but still, anyway, time went on, and our relationship since then has always been unbroken or undesirably affected in many ways. And she does puzzle me because she has all these great grandchildren, whom I once count. She ranks to know the name of all of them, and I believe can usually match the names of the person. But on that note, I won't waffle on any longer. I'll say I've been very glad to be here and propose this toast today. Would you all join me in drinking for the health of my ever so slightly aged sister?
Pray silence for Rosemary, who will respond.
I know I can't walk out here, but I haven't tried anything. Just one drink. Smack out, Ollie. Sorry, Ollie. Come on, are you at it, Ollie? Here we are.
Well, I've had 3 glasses already.
Now, I must thank Ollie. Anything he said is hardly true because I was horrid to him. Till I married. No, not when I married, but by the time I'd grown up. And he came back to live in this part of the world. It's been quite jolly together.
Surely.
He's my baby brother, as you know. But thank you all. What I thought I would like to say, well, so many of me are relations, to put it mildly. I always remember when Philip wrote to my father to ask if we could get married at the very start of the war. And my father wrote back and said yes. But he spoke to me, and he said, now, Rosemary, I must tell you that marriage is a very serious matter. And I said, yes, but can I get married? But the fact is, if you look around, when you think now, after that, the numbers who are all part of this situation, all due to us getting married on that day. So there's a lot of So thank you very much. And I won't keep you talking, I must just mention 2 people. Some of you here will remember better. Brian, someone should be here. We had the most wonderful grandmother, didn't we, Brian? And the most marvellous grandmother. So I thought I must just mention here, and my lovely Camilla. I thought I must just mention you. After that, I think, to finish, I can tell you how wonderful Francis and David, wherever they are, and I can't hear them. The way they look after me, the troubles and difficulties I made even this morning before the time the close I got. Very minor. Absolutely wonderful. So thank you to Francis and David, and then thanks to all of you. And now I can go on drinking, but it doesn't matter.
Rosemary's going to cut the cake.
Yes, that's
Oh.
what I was going to say.
Would you like a red or a white?
I haven't really got ready.